Hello, this is John the Computer Don here at Interop 2015. I'm here with a representative from Inguardians, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name's John Sawyer. I am a senior security analyst with Inguardians, and I spend most of my days doing different types of penetration testing, whether it's web applications, network, and sometimes hardware, but also a lot of mobile applications.
Okay, excellent. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the Go Hack Yourself event that we had yesterday?
So Interop had approached me to put together kind of an offensive security tools for defensive type personnel, and I wanted to try to gear the class to people who work in IT, and they might be systems administrators or network administrators, and they don't necessarily have time or the inkling or background to really do a lot of security testing. So we went through kind of the background of penetration testing, what's involved in pen testing, and kind of the evolution over the years. And then we went through a lot of different tools that are just easy tools to run that can help find kind of the low-hanging fruit that you'll see in a lot of different networks. And we provided a virtual machine that they could use. It was preloaded with tools and some different things for phishing, network scanning, web app scanning, and even a couple of vulnerable web apps so they can kind of test and play with those on their own.
Excellent. Yeah, I noticed in the VM that you had kind of a top 10 list of the best tools to use.
Yeah.
Would you like to let the audience know a couple of those tools?
Well, the top 10 list is actually based on Kali Linux. So okay. Kali Linux is a penetration testing Linux distribution that comes preloaded with a lot of different tools. And so I had taken that and used it as the basis for the virtual machine with a lot of customizations and additional tools that aren't included by default, like Phishing Frenzy, which is a fantastic framework for conducting phishing campaigns.
Absolutely.
And some of the top 10 tools, they include Nmap, which is probably the de facto network mapping tool for identifying servers and ports and things that are listening in the network. And then Burp Suite, which is probably one of my favorite top tools because you can use it in so many different ways, but it's primarily for web application testing. But you can proxy web traffic through it from all different types of things. So I use it in web apps, but also when I'm doing mobile testing. So I'll force mobile applications proxy through Burp so I can see what's going on, be able to enumerate the APIs and the web functions that are going on in the back end. And then at that point, I might be able to move from testing from the mobile application directly to doing function calls and things from Burp, which is really, really nice.
Okay, excellent. So I know a lot of our viewers are just entering the IT workforce, and I get this question pretty often. How does a person either go from a help desk position, or maybe they're just starting in IT and they've been working at the local shop or a nonprofit? How can they make that transition through either certification or experience to start getting into IT security?
Well, there's kind of I would say multiple paths you can take. For me, I kind of started in that help desk type role. I was working for a small department at a university, and then worked up to where I was managing all the servers and desktops, and then I had an opportunity to move into security. And then it was really primarily because I had an interest in security, and I had been participating on several mailing lists and got my name it was known to the people who were doing the hiring, and so when positions came up, they actually came out to me, reached out to me, and said, "Hey, would you be interested?" And I think one of the big things is that in security, a lot of it is related to networking and who you know.
Right.
So getting involved in Twitter is really one of the big avenues because at that point, there's so many security professionals that are online that they're communicating back and forth on Twitter, and you can just kind of develop a rapport with some of them that way. The other is blogging, putting out what you know through a blog, because in penetration testing, so much of it is being able to communicate the ideas behind what you're doing and the technical aspects of the vulnerabilities, but also being able to convey it in a high-level manner to executives, so like when you write an executive summary. So writing blogs really kind of helps you translate the technical into a written format that is definitely a very valuable trait. And beyond that, working with open source projects, there's a lot of different security related projects out there that need help. And so just going around and finding tools that you start using and playing with, and then looking to see, hey, how can I help? Maybe there's some documentation missing. Maybe there's things that you could do, little patches or bugs, and start reporting those through GitHub and however they're doing the management of those apps. And then you get a rapport with those developers, and you might start putting together your own tool. And I think that's another good way. I wrote a Metasploit module that interfaces with Shodan a few years ago, and that was something that later on when I met some of the developers with Metasploit, we made that connection. It was like instant rapport, which was really nice.
Excellent. Okay. Is there any IT certifications that you think is probably best to start with and then work your way up, or would you think that just getting out there and getting in the river is the best way of going about it?
Getting out there is definitely is good. On the job training and just getting your hands dirty and not being afraid to take a virtual machine, build up something, break it, figure out how you broke it and how you can fix it. Is a big way. But with certifications, there's numerous different ones out there. The ones that I value probably the most are the Offensive Security Certified Professional, or the OSCP, and that's from the guys who are behind Kali Linux.
Okay.
So they have a lot of hands-on experience. They've been putting together this really great pen testing distribution for several years now. It started with Backtrack, and then it became Kali, and so their training, once you buy into it, you have like 30 to 60 days, depending on how much you pay for, of access to their lab. They have videos, they have lab documents, guidelines to go through. And then as you're working through that, when you get to the end and you're ready to actually go for the certification exam, it's a 24-hour process where you start at hour 0 and you start working through the testing environment where you're scanning, attacking, exploiting, you're writing some exploits on the fly, and at the very end you have to write a report. Okay. So to me it's one of the more well-rounded, full-featured.
Sounds quite demanding.
Yeah, it is very demanding. The people who go through it, it's a very intensive process. But to me, those individuals who obtain the OSCP, they've cut their teeth on a pretty hard one. SANS has some very good certification programs through GIAC, and those, if you really don't have any experience with pen testing, the 560 from EdSCOTUS, excellent class to get you going, and it's 5 days of hands-on with a 6-day of capture the flag. Okay. And if you want to get into web testing, there's 542 and 562, which have been written and developed by a couple of my friends, and those are good courses to get you immerse yourself into web app testing.
Definitely. All right. Sounds like we've got a good starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this interview short, and we're going to be putting a link somewhere down here in the bottom to the Inguardians website. I highly recommend going and checking them out. They've got a couple of tools that are right there on the website that you can download and kind of toy around with. And we'll be coming back to you with more interviews from Interop. Thanks.
Thank you.